national treasure, except it involves somebody that wanted to kill the president, and he's in an institution, and there's secrets involved, and it all starts with a letter. And Brad is here to tell us the story of the letter.
Sure. Well, what happened was, a couple years back, I got a call from the Department of Homeland Security asking me to come in and brainstorm different ways for terrorists to attack the United States. And my first thought was, if they're calling me, we have bigger problems than anybody thinks. Right? But I was honored to be part of it. It was during the Bush administration, did the Red Cell program. The Red Cell program, as you know, we talked about this once, brought together out-of-the-box thinkers to brainstorm different ways. But what I was struck by is that they were calling regular civilians in. Just regular people like myself, right? Just regular. We're not military, we're not secret agents. And I said, where does that start? And I started looking back through history, and it actually began with a guy named George Washington. And George Washington had his own secret spy ring. And he used this spy ring, it was a precursor to the FBI, to the CIA, and he used this spy ring and his genius to help win the Revolutionary War. And his spy ring, I said to one of my guys, I said, wouldn't that be a cool idea for a novel, for a thriller, to make that spy ring still exist today? And he said to me, what makes you think it doesn't? And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, listen, it's George Washington's greatest secret. Nobody knew about it. It helped win the Revolutionary War. Why would he ever disband it? And I said, okay, I got the plot for a book. And then I heard this amazing story about Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, in his last moments in the White House, he writes a letter, a secret letter, and it says, don't let the turkeys get you down. And then he draws a picture of a turkey, and he puts the letter into the desk of the Oval Office, and he leaves it for George H.W. Bush. And then when Bush leaves office, he leaves a letter for Bill Clinton, who then writes his own letter and leaves one for George W. Bush, who leaves one for Obama. It's the greatest private tradition of the modern presidency. And I said, you know what? Could you actually move information in those secret letters? So I went to George H.W. Bush, and I asked him, I said, could you move secret information in those presidential letters like they do in my novel, The Inner Circle? And instead of saying yes or no, he actually says, you need to have this. And he sends me, for the very first time ever, no one's ever seen it, the secret letter that he wrote to Bill Clinton.
What did he write? You have it there.
I have it here. And
what's up?
He wrote, here, Bill, you want to read the whole thing? Yeah.
Well,
I'll give you the best part. Here's the best part. He says, I never felt the loneliness some presidents have described. He says, and this is just a fascinating, especially in today's times, there will be very tough times, made even more difficult with criticism. You may not think it's fair. I'm not a very good one to give advice. Just don't let the critics discourage you or push you off course. Of all the things that he can talk about in this letter, right? National security.
It's driving me crazy.
That's okay. Not too much. Watch TV.
Let's go home, okay?
Cool.
Yeah.
Actually,
9:30 from home.
oh, in the morning?
Yeah. Well, it's either that or the
3-hour drive?
yeah. Depends on traffic.
I've never actually gone to Victorville, but it seems like it's about halfway to Vegas.
It's only 2 hours from Vegas. 2 hours to Vegas from her.
Vegas is a 6-hour drive if you drive the way I drive.
She's just gonna stay up all night. My mom said no, not stay up all night.
It's not too much for a 3-hour drive.
My mom said, I'm not gonna let you leave this house. You know, any, just like an hour, 2 hours, anything. She said, but you cannot leave this house.
3 hours is about where it starts to be a real drive.
Except I made the room look a little...
Here's the and I dusted the ceiling.